This is the Epic Mike Bennett, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.
All right, and we're back here once again at In Your Head, and we're joined now by the First Lady of Ring of Honor, Maria Kanellis. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Better now, of course, that you're on the line. We'll let everyone know you're going to be at New England Fanfest 4. It's a Hall of Fame, a fan fest. It's very cool. They're going to, during the day, it is the fan fest. At night, they have the Hall of Fame, and it is June 21st in Warwick, Rhode Island. And the website is NEPW, as in New England Pro Wrestling, HOF, as in Hall of Fame.weebly.com.
That's it.
Yes. So, are you going to be in attendance for the Hall of Fame as well?
I don't know if I'm going to be there. I think I might be doing something else at that point. I know at some point I'm taking pictures with people in my bikini. Mm-hmm. So as long as that's not conflicting with the Hall of Fame, I'm sure I'll be there. I definitely want to see Bobby Cruz inducted. So I'm excited to see the show, and I would love to be there.
Yeah, and when she said taking pictures of people in her bikini, she'll be the one wearing the bikini, not people wearing her.
No, other people actually will be in their bikinis. Yeah, I'm hoping that some people wear like flippers and what are they called? The little kids wear the floaties. I'm hoping that people come with their floaties on as well.
Water wings.
Yeah, I'm coming with an inner tube.
Fantastic.
I'm breaking out the banana hammock.
Perfect.
Excellent. So, well, I introduced you as the First Lady of Ring of Honor. Do you prefer being an active wrestler or the valet manager role?
I get asked that all the time, and I don't have a good answer. I like doing both. It really depends on what's going on that night. I mean, managing the match 2 weeks ago when Mike was against Tanahashi, I have to say I loved just being a part of that match. It's probably one of my favorite memories I've had so far. But then I've had some great matches that I loved being involved in. I got to work with some of the greatest women wrestlers of all time. And even though I'm not the greatest female wrestler, just being in the matches with some amazing talents has been great. I mean, I've worked with everybody. I've worked with Gail Kim, and I've worked with Trish Stratus. I've worked with Lita and Victoria and Beth Phoenix and Mickie James. And so I've worked with some of the greatest female wrestlers of my time. So I love both.
What's the difference between wrestling some of those people that were in WWF and compared to some of the women on the independent scene?
It's a lot more freeing. We always had to stick to a certain time when I was working on television and wrestling on television. So we always had to stick to a time. So you couldn't really try a whole lot. Getting in there and wrestling with some of the new girls or the up-and-comers or girls that have been veterans on the independents is completely different because we have all the time in the world. We can play with the crowd. We can see what works, what doesn't work, and that's really fun for me.
Mm-hmm. Now, I wanted to bring up, managing because I wanted to ask, how much did Brutal Bob Evans teach you? Big fan of Brutal Bob.
He definitely taught me a lot about wrestling and his approach to wrestling. We didn't so much talk about the managing part because he has been a great wrestling trainer. I mean, he was one of Michael Bennett's trainers. He's been a part of Matt Taven's career. He's also been a part of Todd Hansen's career. So, he's definitely taught a lot of great wrestlers. And in keeping in character for the entire match, not just for one move or two moves, but feeling it the entire way through a match. And so he definitely taught me a lot about wrestling.
Yeah. What was it like being in the ring with Brutal Bob? You and Mike Bennett versus Brutal Bob and Cheese.
He's scary. He's a very large man, so he's a little scary when he gets in the ring.
I am a big fan of Brutal Bob and Brutal Cheeseburger.
Yes, I am a big fan of them as well.
Uh-huh.
Cheeseburger, though, he's so light that, I'm fearful every time he's in the ring. But when he comes with the torpedo drop kick off the top rope, he brings it. Like, it's not like it's a 130-pound man coming at you. It's like a 250-pound man is coming at you.
Yeah. I was going to actually ask who weighs more, you yourself or Cheeseburger, but I don't know if you'd be offended by that question. But
I'm going to use my female prerogative on that one.
Excellent. You mentioned wrestling some, the people on the independent level. What was like being in the ring with Sara Del Rey?
Oh, God. She's one of the greatest talents of all time, not just of women, but talents. She could be in a match at WrestleMania. She could headline WrestleMania, and I don't think anybody would think any differently, whether it was Triple H or Sara Del Rey in there. I don't think anybody would look at it any differently because she has such a mind for wrestling. I've seen a match with her and El Generico, and it's one of my favorite matches I've ever seen.
And why was that?
Just the way that Sarah was so strong in the match, but at the same time, Generico was still treating her as a woman, and he was afraid to hit her, character-wise. He was afraid to hit her, and it still came off as both of them as very strong. They both had very impressive moves throughout the match, and it was a great story that they told.
Mm-hmm. Nope. How long, when you left WWE, did you know you still wanted to pursue wrestling and stay in wrestling, or did you ever think, I just want to leave wrestling altogether?
You always want to leave wrestling altogether at some point in your career. At some point, you're like, I'm washing my hands of this. I'm too sore and too tired, and my car has broke down too many times when I'm trying to get to a show, and I just don't want to do this anymore. And that lasted for about, I would say, maybe 6 to 8 months. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then it threw me back in.
Yeah.
That first show that I came back to, and I was just supposed to sign, and then they asked me if I would manage, and I said, okay. And then that was it. I was hooked, and I was back in it.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. I think it's that way with any job. Whether you're an accountant or whether you're a wrestler, at some point you just don't want to do it anymore. But in your heart, somewhere you still hold that I want to be the best at my job as I can be.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if accounting's the same thing. Like, man, I really X's. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Nope.
Yeah.
When you tried out for the Diva Search, were you like an active wrestling fan, or?
I was. Yeah, I was a huge wrestling fan. When I first met The Rock, I almost had a minor heart attack. I knew who the guys were when I went backstage, and I don't know if that was a good thing or not because I was so starstruck by so many of them. And it was, I entered online by myself. It wasn't like I came through an agency. I didn't, have the manager call up for me. I entered online because I was watching Raw one week, and they said, we're going to hold a Diva Search. And I said, that's really cool. I'll enter online. And then from there, I ended up making it into the Diva Search.
No, you didn't win the Diva Search, but you obviously signed, and you had a good run there and everything. How long was it after the Diva Search was over? Or did they come to you and say, we saw something in you and we want you to continue?
I believe I was let go in August. And then by November, I was going to Raw, and I didn't realize that I was going to be working that Monday Night Raw. But all of a sudden, I'm coming in the building, and everybody's congratulating me, and I realized I was going to be interviewing that night. So it was about a month and a half that they asked me to come back, but I was calling them like a crazy person. Every week I would call them. They'd say, call back in 2 weeks. I didn't care. I called back the next week anyways. Are you guys ready for me to come back? Can I do a tryout? Can I blah, blah, blah? And so I was in constant contact with them, but I really didn't know I was going to be on the show until I got to the building that day.
That's pretty wild. Inchman, do you have a question from the message board or Facebook?
I've got one from Gloggo13 from the message board. He wants to know, what are your memories of the ECW strip poker segment?
I remember starting off the day feeling very uncomfortable, and by the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm wearing pasties in my underwear. This is cool. It's just, you started off thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be so uncomfortable, but then everybody was so professional on set, and everything, of course, was blurred out. And so it was fun. The girls were great involved in it. So, yeah, I ended up being very comfortable half naked.
Now, do you have a good relationship with Paul Heyman? Because I know he was there in OVW, and I read that you did some booking or had booking ideas with him while you were in OVW.
I did. He actually was one of the inspirations for my character. And I keep in contact with him. I probably talk to him, I don't know, every other week. And we're constantly throwing back ideas back and forth. And I sent him a email with Mike Bennett's shirt that he wore in his match against Tanahashi, which was it was directly from the shirt that Brock Lesnar had. So, and he said it was an awesome idea, and he was like, it's fucking cool. So, I talk to him all the time. I consider myself a Paul Heyman girl, because I'm always asking him questions and advice, and he's just always been such a great friend.
Do you find some people in wrestling think that a girl can't have like a good mind for the creative side of wrestling?
I think that used to be the case, but it's definitely changing. With Sara Del Rey down in development, doing such a good job with the females down there. I think that it's definitely changing. Mickie James always had a fantastic mind for wrestling. Victoria had a great mind for wrestling. So I think that it's changing. I think it's already changed, actually. And women are definitely a lot more involved than they used to be.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Well, we had some callers on the line. We're having some technical problems with the call and things. So if you guys want to call back, it's 508-644-8503.
Yeah.
But I do want to know, did you get to keep the Slammy?
I did not. No, I was very disappointed, but they take him back. I carried that sucker around for a long time, but they do take him back.
Well, that's not cool. I always have the slams up on their mantelpiece. And...
I would love that. That would be awesome.
Uh-huh. I was going to say maybe you can get a reproduction, but that's not the same. You want the one that you actually...
No, I want the one that I got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I know, Slammies is kind of, it's always like a fun kind of silly thing, but does that, since people do vote on that, was that, something, cool that you win when you win that? How much?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was super humbled by it. I hadn't expected to win it. I was gone for a month and a half doing Celebrity Apprentice, so I was very surprised that I even won it. But it was definitely a humbling experience.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that show, what was it like for you to be part of that?
Oh, it was the most educational thing that I've ever been a part of. It definitely taught me a lot about business. It taught me a lot about how Sharon Osbourne works or how Holly Robinson Peete works, and watching them run through different ideas and in the brainstorming of how they did things, and also how that they would get their point across without offending other people was also extremely impressive. Donald Trump is a great businessman, and he definitely tries to pull it out of every contestant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stephen from Toronto, he has a question about the Celebrity Apprentice. He wants to know if the boardroom was actually a set or was it just a real boardroom?
It was definitely a real boardroom, and what a lot of people don't know is even though on TV it might have only been 15 minutes, for us, when we were filming it, it was 3 hours, 4 hours at times. It was so long, and it was very warm in there because of all the television lights, and they had something like 7 cameras on us, so it was a very intense experience.
Now, I read this earlier today, and I have to ask about this because I'm a big horror movie fan, and Cheap Plug tomorrow night be interviewing Doug Bradley on WithoutYourHead.com. But it says that you're going to be in the sequel to Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to be. I haven't heard anything about it in a long time, so I don't know if that project is still going or not, but yeah, I had signed on to do it a long time ago. But I did do a horror movie called Army of the Damned, which was out earlier this year, and it's on Amazon, that I'm really proud of, and the director is awesome. He's a good friend of mine, Tommy DiNucci, and I'm actually filming something with them tomorrow that's a short horror film.
No, what do you think it is? Because there does seem to be a big crossover between horror fans and wrestling fans. Why do you think that is?
You know, it's all characters. It's all kind of getting out of your own mind and your own daily life and submerging yourself into these different characters, whether it's a horror movie character or a wrestler. You can definitely get very involved with those characters. And there's a lot of merchandising along with horror movies and with wrestling. So I think that's another part of it, because you can buy the action figures, you can buy the posters. There's so many different aspects to it.
Yeah. Is that something you'd like to continue to do?
Definitely. I mean, I did 2 films with Woodhaven Productions last year. One of them already came out. Another one's coming out later on this year. I'm filming with them tomorrow. I'm filming a short. And then I'm supposed to be doing another film this summer. So my schedule is very busy when it comes to films, and I'm really excited about that. And my fiance, he filmed a movie as well last month. So we're definitely involved in it.
Yeah. What was the movie he's going to be in, Mike Bennett?
It's called Almost Mercy, and it's a horror film. Of course, that name might change since it's in pre-production, but it's a very interesting storyline. Of course, I can't give away too many details, but it's a little dark. But he has a great part in it, and I'm excited for him to keep doing film roles.
Yeah. Mike Bennett, we had on the show years ago before he was in Ring of Honor, because I'm from Massachusetts, so I saw him a lot on the independent scenes around here. I always thought he was an excellent worker, and I always notice actually when on the independent shows here, they usually bring in like a Lawler or some like an older guy, and he would almost always be the guy that they would put in the ring with him, which I would assume would be like high praise that those person would want to work with him, or thinks that it's a guy that could have a good match with someone from an established name.
Definitely. I think that you always know with Mike that it's going to be a good match, that it's going to be something that no matter who the star is that they're bringing in, they're going to be able to shine, and then Mike's going to be able to shine as well. So I think that's a very important part when you're bringing in these stars, is you don't want a guy in there that's just going to overshine the other person. You don't want someone in there that you're worried that maybe the guy can't do every single thing that a young guy can do, or so it's definitely a compliment to Mike, because no matter who it is, whether it's been Gold Dust, I've seen him in the ring with, he's worked with Matt Hardy, he's worked with Tanahashi now. No matter who it is, Lance Storm, all these different guys, it's going to be a great match.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but it was rumors on the internet. People said when Mike was going to go to a WWE, that part of the reason he didn't go was they said that it was because he was with you. Do you know? I'm assuming you've heard these rumors, and
of course. I mean, I've heard a lot of things, but with wrestling, you have to know that everybody might blame it on different reasons. It's always going to be, it's because he wasn't in good enough shape. It's because he was an independent wrestler. It's because he has something in his past. And the truth of the matter is wrestling is all about timing and placement. And at the time, it wasn't Mike's time. It wasn't his time to go. And, I've been called an albatross. I've been called this and that. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that what WWE needs right now. Because if he is what they needed, they would take him And if you look at past history with wrestling, there's been a lot of guys that came back that had a lot more controversy surrounding them than I have. So, they always said Stone Cold won't go back. Oh, Rock's not going to go back. Oh, this person's not going to go back.
Mm-hmm.
When they need them, when they want them, they end up going.
Yeah. Now, Ring of Honor is going, to regular pay-per-view now, because they have the iPay-per-view.
Yes.
They have, is that an exciting time for Ring of Honor?
Oh, definitely. This year's been incredible. We've sold out every single venue. We're gaining more and more viewers. We got the pay-per-view now. I've heard rumors of other amazing things coming up for us. We've been involved with the No Hate campaign. So we've really started to branch out, and I think it's only a matter of time that we'll be seen on all televisions. And, with this pay-per-view, more people can watch the show, which is so exciting. And we have so many great, talented guys there right now that it's a perfect time for us to be on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Do you still think there's a place for the iPay-per-view?
With Ring of Honor, no, not at this time, because, we're going on real pay-per-view, so not at this time. But I think for other companies, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Now, have you ever had any talks I know you're in Ring of Honor now, doing very well, but have you ever had any talks with TNA or with Jeff Jarrett's new promotion?
I've had conversations here and there. With Ring of Honor, it's a nice place for me to be at. I have a lot of control over the different aspects of my career, whether I want to do a film or if I want to go off and do a signing here or there, or if I need to do a small spot on a reality show. I can do those things, and that's very important to me. And plus, I'm getting my degree right now. And with the Ring of Honor schedule, it makes it a lot easier for me. I like the idea of working for a cause and working for a company that's on the rise. It means something to me. When I go backstage at Ring of Honor, I feel like we're a part of something, that we're fighting for something. And I don't know if I would have that at another company. Maybe I would, but right now I'm sticking with what I know and what I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm. No, when we talked earlier about, you had some booking, ideas and stuff. Is that something you would like to pursue more of?
Definitely. I mean, I'm already doing that at Ring of Honor, which is another reason why I stayed and signed on until the end of the year, is I have been working on a pet project, which is the Women of Honor. We've done a couple of different tapings with it. The plan is to have a YouTube reality show about the Women of Honor. We're planning on doing a few more matches later on in the year, and then releasing all of the matches at one time. And it's an exciting, it's an exciting thing to have for women that want different places to work, and will be seen by a larger audience. So I definitely enjoy the booking part of it, the producing part of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, as a woman in wrestling, what do you think is the most important thing between looks, charisma, and in-ring wrestling? Or do you think you have to have kind of that whole complete package?
I think you have to have something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's one particular look. I don't think it's one particular type of charisma, and I don't think it's one particular type of wrestling. I think that there's a place for everything. You just have to be extremely passionate about it. You have to stand out. I think a lot of people thought I would never come back to wrestling, and I think a lot of people thought that I wouldn't have a place in wrestling, and I would just do whatever it was to make money. But if that were the case, then I probably would be somewhere else. I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I'm so very passionate about wrestling and about being a part of wrestling and making the best product out there. And I think that is what you need to stick around in this business. You'll move around. You might go to TNA, you might go to Ring of Honor, you might go to WWE, and each place will expect something different of you, but you have to be passionate about every aspect of wrestling in order to make it.
I want everyone to know again you're going to be at the New England Fan Fest and Hall of Fame, June 21st in Warwick, Rhode Island. The website's right on our website, so you can click on it. But it is NEPW as in New England Pro Wrestling, HOF as in Hall of Fame, .weebly.com. And there's going to be a ton of guests there. They add guests pretty much every week, it seems.
Yes, they do, definitely.
Yeah. I know actually when we had Big Billy Busick on, he actually brought up the bikini shots, and I believe he's going to get a ticket himself.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's a very hairy man. So I want to thank you for coming on tonight. It's been fun.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night.
And let everyone know you also have a podcast.
I do have a podcast. I'm going to be going live tonight, and that's at mikeandmariapodcast.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, which is Maria L. Kanellis. You can follow me on Facebook or like me, I guess, on Facebook, and that's official Maria Kanellis. If you think you're talking to me, you're not, because I don't talk to anybody on Facebook. There's a lot of fakers out there. So the real one is official Maria Kanellis.
Well, you just ruined my good time.
I've had so many people come up to me in like at the grocery store and be like, I talked to you on Facebook and you invited me to the wedding. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I don't talk to people on Facebook. I post things and that's it.
Well, there was a Maria Kanellis on Facebook who turned me in, reported me, and was very rude to me on Facebook. So I assume that was not you then.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, then I apologize for anything I've said on prior shows.
No, it was probably not me because I really don't talk to anybody on Facebook. I have a page or a Facebook that's strictly for my family. But the only way you can get on there is if I accept you. So, and it's actually under a different name as well. So, yeah, not me. Sorry.
All right, excellent. Well, I feel better now.
I hope you like me a little better now.
I do. You're a very, very, very nice person, yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm sure it's made your day.
Hey, this is Sara Del Rey, the Queen of Wrestling, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.